Doing rear shocks on your BMW E90 is an easy job, just takes a little bit of muscle. You can do it at home and save a ton of money, and we're going to do it right now. Now I have a lift which makes this job super easy for me, but this is totally doable with a jack and some jack stands. Once your car's off the ground, step one is removing the wheels with a 17mm socket. Once your wheels are off, you can really inspect your shocks, and you can see here the hardware is all messed up. The bump stop is ripped up. It's all old and corroded up in here, and the one side's leaking really bad. These are actually very easy to swap out. There's one singular bolt up top through the shock tower. There's one bolt down bottom that goes through the lower mount, and then the mount itself is held in by two E-Torx bolts. We're going to start by removing the two E-Torx bolts that hold the lower mount in. I'll put a link to these below. You'll need them if you're going to do any kind of DIY work on your BMW. Ideally, if you can take these two bolts out and compress the shock and take the entire assembly out in one shot, that's the easiest. You'll see in this car here, one side I'm able to do that, the other side is so corroded that wasn't going to work. Unless the lower mounts have recently been done, it's a good idea to replace those as well. To remove the lower nut from the shock, you'll have to use an open end wrench, snake it through to hold it in place because it will spin. Then a deep socket will take this off. On my car, it was pretty corroded. One side, the nut came off, but the shock didn't separate from the mount. And you can see here, I was able to compress this all up together as one. And obviously this thing is shot because it should be pushing back down. And this side was so corroded that the nut just sheared right off. And that's okay because on this side I was going to separate the shock from the mount anyway. This mount is all torn up and I had to pry it out. It wouldn't just lift out, it was so swollen. But once you have the bottom disconnected, you should be able to push up on that shock to get it ready for removal. If they're like mine, they'll stay up because they're so worn. Next we head up top to remove the top bolts. Go into your trunk and remove that floor, take it out of the way. You're going to want to pull off the panels here. There's some push clips. You can use a panel tool to push out the center of it, and then you pop out the larger part of it. That'll let you move this carpeted panels out of the way. It's also helpful to remove this plastic piece in the very back. Same thing, some of these push pin snaps, you'll use a panel tool to pop those out, get those out of the way. There's also two screws up top, mine are already missing. Get all this carpeted stuff out of the way so you have access to the shock towers. On the top of the shock tower is a black rubber cap. You pull that off and it exposes the top of the shock. You'll have to hold the center while spinning the nut. This is similar to most other shocks. If it's stock, it's something like a 6 or 7mm to hold that top part. And then you're going to want to use, if you have a ratcheting wrench, you can get it through there and just start to zip that off. It's a good idea to have someone on the other side to grab that shock as it comes down. Or if you're a Neanderthal like me, you'll just let it fall down to the ground. But once it's out, you're going to want to remove everything else that's here, all that hardware. There's a top plate, and if you go underneath, there's a bushing that you can pull out. I'll put links to these below. They are not OEM, they are aftermarket, and they're inexpensive, but they work just fine. I've used them and I've not had any issues. You want to replace all of your hardware, so you've got your dust cover, you've got a rubber boot for the top, you've got a plate, you've got a bump stop, you've got a bushing, and you've got the cap for the top of it. And of course your shocks, they'll come like this, packaged well. You'll also want to replace your lower mounts. So you want to make sure that's clean, there's no debris in that pocket there, but you can just place these in gently by hand and then come around bottom and hand tighten the two Torx bolts. Before installing, you want to make sure you assemble your hardware in the correct order, especially the dust cover and the bump stop. You want them to snap into each other. You want the bottom of the bump stop to snap into the top of the dust cover so that they stay together as one. But once you have that together, this metal cap will go directly on top. This rubber boot attaches to the top of this rubber bushing. There's a steel bushing on the inside. The entire assembly here pushes up through the shock tower, and it's tight and it'll hold itself in place. Assemble your new shock by sliding the dust cover on and putting the metal plate above it. Before installing, go ahead and compress it and let it expand a few times. For reinstalling, the trick here is speed. Get your shock up close to the top of the shock tower and use that to compress it. And when it's fully in, as quickly as possible, shift it into place. You want to get the top of the shock through the shock tower, through that metal bushing first, and then let it push down towards the bottom mount, making sure that the bolt at the bottom, or the stud at the bottom of the shock, makes it all the way through that rubber mount. With the shock in place, come up top, install that top plate. It's a bushing and it has a nut attached to it, and just get that hand tight. It's really important, this next part, when torquing down all the bolts, you want to get that wheel carrier up as close to ride height as possible. So what I'm doing here is I'm using a jack and I'm bringing it up a little bit, and then I'm going to start to torque these down. I'm going to start with the nut that holds the lower part of the shock into the mount, and that gets torqued to 38 Newton meters. Next, I'll tighten the two E-Torx bolts that hold the lower shock mount, and that gets tightened to 60 Newton meters. Next, we come up top to tighten that top nut. You will have to hold that center part in place. So what I found easiest was to just hold it, get it as tight as I could with the ratchet, and then since you can't really spin that nut with your torque wrench, use your torque wrench to hold the center of that shaft or of that stud, and at the last possible minute, once it gets nice and tight, use the torque wrench to make sure you hit that proper setting. One thing to note, if you find your wheels and your hubs looking like this, go ahead and clean them off and put some anti-seize prior to reassembling. These wheels gave me a really hard time to come off, so I'm going to take a wire brush, clean them off really well, both the hub side and the wheel side, and then slather on a good amount of anti-seize. But this job is pretty much done here. Once you get the hubs cleaned up, you put the wheels back on, reassemble your trunk in the reverse order, you are done. I like making these videos to show how easy it is to do some of these things on your own, and of course to save a ton of money while doing it. I'll put links below to the items and tools I've used, and if you use my links, I will earn a whole 17 cents.